Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success talk show. My name is Rochelle Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I advise and empower women professionals, especially women veterans, to step up into their most authentic personal brand to gain and attract lucrative opportunities. And we are focusing on 4 different areas: appearance, behaviors, communication skills, and digital presence, because when you get all of these 4 areas down pat, there is nothing that will stop you from getting what you deserve, and most importantly, what you desired. And so we start with the slay philosophy. That's right. Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, to dream big and work hard until you own it. It is also an acronym that stands for universal life and leadership philosophies that really resonate with me the most. And I know they resonate with you too. And they mean stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and knowing you are built to last. And so as you come in tonight, please make sure that you tell us where you're streaming in from. Tell us your name, give us the location, where you're dialing in from, because you do not want to miss out on tonight's conversation. Y'all, you know how I do. I look high and I look low, all right? And I always find the most incredible, SLAYMAZING guests to have here on the show, because the purpose of this show is to talk to men and women who are living life on their own terms, and they're positively impacting the world, not just their community, not just the family, not just their friends. They are impacting the entire world and going after the things that they really enjoy. And I know y'all are going to love, 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 love my guest. And so, again, as you come in, making sure that you are putting in your name, okay? And then don't forget to go over and subscribe, okay? All of you are going to be subscribing to the Slay to Success YouTube channel. That's right. Go to over to there so that way you can always get notified when I have my guest here on the show, because you do not want to miss out on any conversation that we are having. No conversations that you want to miss out when you come out in here. All right. So again, thank you all for being here. For those that are coming in, I just want you to know who my guest is. And so I'm pulling up, a little bit of information so that way you can get a taste. My guest tonight is Kris Marshall Gordon, and she is a powerhouse consultant, founder, and CEO with over 20 years of experience delivering high-level customer service, sales strategy, marketing, and mentorship to some of the most respected industry leaders and entrepreneurs. She is a triple threat, y'all. Okay, she's a triple threat minority businesswoman, and she blends her sharp business acumen with a heart for service, empowering others to build, scale, and shine. Known for her impeccable organizational skills, global perspective, and ability to thrive in fast-paced environments, Kris has traveled the world, both professionally and personally, bringing cultural fluency, tact, and a spirit of excellence to every interaction. Her business ethics are rock solid, and her ability to connect across diverse audiences is second to none. Now, listen, y'all. Okay. Again, I search high and I always search really low. And I'll tell you, my guest, we have so much in common. So y'all want to buckle up, okay? Because we're going to be talking for a minute about a lot of different things, all right? So please welcome my guest, Kris Gordon, to the building.
Woo! Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. In my world, that's what we say, okay? So
Okay.
it is Sunslay. We already got Kron in the building. Thank you so much, Queen, for being here with us. You know what? I just knew our energies were in alignment. Y'all, we were at a networking event, and you know how I do. I'll be in these virtuals and in-person networking. And we're meeting folks, and then Kris gets in there, and I swear she just, like, I guess threw a bomb in there and was like, "Hey, listen," and I was like, "Who is this queen?" And we, as she's talking, I'm in there typing on the side of the chat, like, Queen, we need to get together. We got on a Zoom call, we met, and we said, we have so much in common that you simply need to be here on the show. So
Mhm.
thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your yes and saying come
Yes,
here and just going to lesson this audience, okay? My community,
absolutely.
our community with
Yeah.
this conversation. We love you being here too, Kron. We absolutely love you
Mhm,
being here.
mhm, mhm.
So, my queen, tell
Hey.
tell let's tell us a little bit about yourself, okay?
Oh goodness. Well, I mean, you really said a lot already. Like after you were reading it out, and I was like, dang, she's talking about me. You
I'm
right.
talking about
You
you. Yeah.
right.
Hey, hey,
You said what you said because I said what I said, and that's exactly what it is. But who am I? A multifaceted woman? That's a really loaded question. That sounds like kind of like, how are you? Do you
yeah,
really want to know? But who
yeah,
am
we really
I?
do.
Yes. Okay, good, good. I am a woman, a wife of almost 2 decades, a mother
Mhm.
of 3 daughters, a OG or some people know it as grandma. I have been an agency owner for 6 years, doing PR and marketing in a multifaceted way. And yeah, I am a creative who's very intentional and committed and passionate about so many things, but the heart of it is good people, good business, great
Mhm.
service, and just the ability to lead into communities being better. So I hope that was enough.
Yeah, absolutely. It's enough, and we're gonna start to chew on that a little bit
Okay,
because
okay,
you know what I
okay.
mean?
Yes,
Because first of
yes,
all, in the background, you got House of Privilege, and I know
yes.
that
Thank you.
is your
I'm like, which way should
company
I go? There we
name,
go.
right?
There we go.
Listen. And that's your company's name. So, we were talking, and there's the common thread of military background, right?
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
So,
mhm.
you are married to your husband who
Yes.
is still serving or has
Yes,
served
still
in.
serving active duty logistics specialist. We're Navy. So yeah, my agency originally was, I wouldn't say a side hustle, but it really was. It really,
Yeah,
really started off as a side hustle internationally, that really saved my life because everything I knew was kind of ripped from the process of whatever train I was on. And yeah, I had to rebuild differently. So yes, he's still active, but we're now back stateside, of course,
yeah,
stationed in Virginia. But that was the birth of me understanding and refining privilege for what I know it to be and what I'm making it to be now.
yeah.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about, your upbringing, just a tad, a
Okay.
little bit about that.
Yes.
And then I would love for you to also share your the point of which you created House of Privilege or got in PR, especially when you were overseas. I would love for you to share that with us as well, because I think that is so important for people to see and hear the origin of the story.
Yes,
So
yes. I love that. Thank you so much for that question. I've done quite a
yeah,
few of these, and no one goes back to the basics, to the beginning. And so that's so beautiful. Thank you for the opportunity to
you're
speak on that.
welcome.
I Yes, started this in Japan, and I am from Washington, D.C. I'm from Northwest. They say uptown, okay, by the
Uptown.
National Zoo. Okay, my grandmother lived on Wallbridge, and I've always had a very high pace of city girl life. My father is an entrepreneur also, for almost 40 years now. So, kind of that culture has just always been there. I've served in our family business, having a storefront on Capitol Hill called the Little Key Shop. So, really, that business and ownership has always been there. And I would say that's really the beginning, that knowing how to hustle, knowing how to be passionate about something and then just go after it in like your own lane, very much so. And so fast forward the story, we go to Japan. Now I'm a, well married woman. I knew my husband before he was active duty. So we have done, the corporate life first and all of these other amazing things. But the military is where we decided executively, like, this is a good move. This is a win. Let's do this. Okay.
Yeah.
And so going there, well, I would say getting enlisted, that was a very interesting process. But then when they said that we were going international, I was pregnant and it was new. I was like, wait a minute, I just really accepted the military thing fully and what all that encompasses, because it is very much a different lifestyle completely. Like, oh my goodness, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Now you're talking about I'm going out the whole country. The whole country, like we leaving the whole America. Okay, I'm gonna trust you, but also I'm very much supposed to be having a baby and feeling like this is my time to be connected to my family and to be nesting. And I just had this awesome home that we were, renting to buy even. And, I really thought I was being planted somewhere else. And then, jokes on you, the Navy does it. And now we're in Japan. So I will say, if I'm being honest, a House of Privilege was built from pain. It was built from a little bit of loss, a little bit of just trying to figure it out intentionally, a lot of bit of postpartum stress, a bit of just knowing that I had 3 little women looking at me like, so how long you going to not be who we know you to be, even though you here and you brought us here? It was very, very interesting. So going to an event that changed my life, but it also changed my mind. And I was like, I don't see me the way I need to see me. I don't, feel what I think I could feel in a space like this. So I'm gonna go home and reset and get and let that give what it gave me. But I'm also gonna it also kind of lit a fire up under me in a way. And I was like, this is it. I can't even say fully what felt like it was, but I knew it was like host your own event. And fast forward the story, hosting one event that just was a coffee social for, military spouses who have master's degrees or have PhDs, have, military backgrounds themselves, but now they're just sitting at home like, actually, I don't like it here. I'm gonna make it work because that's who I am, and I'm this amazing woman, but I actually don't like it here. And of course, there was some positivity in that as well. People who really do love it here, and they're just looking for the next thing to do. There was such a great combination, but the reality of it is, for me, I was like reaching for some version of feel good, feel better, and having one event turned into having 5 events, turned into having 10 events, turned into hosting the first Juneteenth in Japan on the very year that it was, made a federal holiday. There was so much power there. And then, fast forward the story, if I can, one more time. And it just became like my house of people from all different backgrounds, all different ranks, all different, ways of thinking even, and all just here having this good time. And I'm a say the PG way, but my bestie says it in such a way that it just fires me up real good. But we were just having a great fellowship, a great community of us around, and that it just took off from there. And I was like, oh man, it's really a privilege to be right here, right now, to just have this access to these people who don't really come outside and don't really do too much, but they're wanting to do it right here with us, with me. It just was so beautiful. So that was really the beginning.
You know what? Okay, so we got our queens are in the building. They coming in,
Welcome,
so
welcome.
We got Audra Russell, who is the CEO and founder of R5 Hauling and Junk Removal. She is here. And then we have Leslie George, who is the
Yes.
CEO and founder of Mosaic Inc. And she is here. So we got entrepreneurs. We've got, queens who have started businesses out of pain, as you have said. And I think that is one of the things that, a lot of us have in common when we have something that we know could be better, and so we just create and I would say it was something that you were tracking. It was like all of a sudden, right, you build community, and then you build this community of other like-minded individuals who just want to be better. We just try to be better
and to connect. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We watched my kids, we love Disney movies together, and on robots, all of my daughters have been obsessed with the movie Robots. I have no idea why, but every last one of them, and we have them gapped in ages, you know what I mean? But robots, and it said, see a need, fill a need. And I could never unhear it. And really that shaped also how I see opportunity and challenges. So
See a need, feel a need.
From robots on Disney.
From a robot. Oh my God. And I was stationed in Japan as well. Me and my husband were stationed there for 6 years. And so I'm very familiar with where you were stationed at. And I think you all were at Yokosuka or so we've driven there several times because y'all had the big
we had everything. We were the main base.
The big base and the naval. I mean, just take up the whole continent or the whole country of Japan. But anyway, and I could see very much how you could feel isolated. You went there pregnant, not knowing anyone, and having to start a life and, building a community. And now you have this company where you are actually providing service with this PR, tech, and marketing, so, tell us a little bit about that piece of it.
Of course. So first, I didn't have a baby in Japan. I had it in America, but fresh out.
Right. Okay. So right when you had her, you went over there.
Absolutely. We had her here in Virginia, but then not too far after that. But in those events that we started hosting, he said, yes, for Disney. Yes, Leslie. Parents, we love us a good Disney movie.
Oh, she loves Disney. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Loves Disney.
Yes. But so I'm in the live. I'm sorry. Motherhood, mothering. Okay. I literally said I'm in the live. Sorry about that.
Don't tell me sorry. That's what we're doing, y'all.
I had to say it because otherwise it would just come blaring in the darn screen. Oh my goodness gracious. So in doing those events, people started kind of coming up and asking, questions, just how they could market their business better, how they could do something, that they were doing out in town, or how they could present themselves. And then I got connected with a really an all service spa right off main base, and she was looking for PR because she just has this new salon business that she's planting right outside the base with all of this military traffic. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. I would love that. And they actually used me as a little bit of a test dummy, so I got all the waxes and the test dummy is the best way I can say it. Because I'm able to take harsh experiences from the very basic function and just still be able to build, something from it, or give, critiques or what have you. So when I say the PR is running deep, that was really my first start at it there outside of the events. And then through COVID and coming back to the States, it has just pivoted, and I could even say snowballed into so many amazing things to really get into the depths of what marketing is. And logistically, it has so many public relations components and so many digital marketing components. And when you really put those things together, it breeds technology. And the better I get with this, the more I learn, the more people that I collaborate with, the more AI that I absorb and harmonize with. It has really snowballed into us being able to use some of these systems that these Fortune 500 companies have, but in a bite-sized way for, small businesses, big businesses, series events, tours, convention centers, or convention events. But really the mechanics of how you connect when you can't reach people, when you can't stand right there in front of them. So whether that's an email, whether that's a text message, whether that's just a graphic or a flyer, all of those things are very digital, but most people don't really conceptualize that. Like I always say to my clients, 100 steps happen before that flyer you first saw. And that's really what marketing and PR really means. And the tech of it is just the digital side that I've had, a lot of time to develop, but I know is such an essential element to make sure that we're scaling these businesses that we're building, not just starting them, not just having them, like literally making more money, more wealth, and more opportunities out of it, not only for ourselves, but for others.
Yeah. In today's world, if you will, I mean, digital, if you're not on anything from a digital standpoint, you might as well just say, I'm not in the game, if you will. You know what I mean?
You gotta
And
call a spade a spade. Come on now. You ain't gotta live on there. Just be there. Just be present.
I learned that, as I was starting out, they're like, you pick a platform, and you monopolize that space and in the lane that you are in, and you show up every single day. If you have, and it got to have value, all the things that they have told us about digital marketing. So what kind of insight, if you will, would you give for some folks, because we got a lot of folks here that are first time entrepreneurs or nonprofit CEOs? Like, what would you share with them that has worked, maybe even some challenges of things that don't work, and maybe you know what I mean? Because I think that sometimes we think we're on the right path, and we're like, oh, we're doing this and everything else, and they'll be like, no, that don't work. So tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. You hit so many things. So before I get into the juicy insights, let me just say that I really think that it's important to know the difference between insight and advice. Okay. And I don't give advice. Okay. This is just insight. This means from my experience. Okay. What I've known to work for me. Okay. You can tell I'm kind of in the digital. This is the terms and conditions, ladies and gentlemen.
Listen, wait, before you get into it, Kris, they said, what are we doing? Okay, what are we doing here? Yes.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And so if I were to just get to it in a simple form, I would say you just have to show up. I often say to my clients, what speaks for your business in your absence? And sometimes just being in a different place digitally, it makes a significant difference. So like you said, I can kind of hit so many birds with one stone. You're like, you hear show up and post every day. You don't have to post every day. That is a lie. As my kids would say, that's cap. Okay. But you do have to have some type of consistency cadence. You do have to show up intentionally. And if you started off with LinkedIn or you started off with Facebook, which most people did, it's okay to get an Instagram. It's okay to get another platform. But are you going to be there, or are you just going to be, being nosy? I even call it like doom scrolling. Like, oh goodness, I can't. But if you're going to be I know my husband, he hates that one because I'm like, what you over there doing? Doom scrolling. I'm a mess. I'm telling you, but I'm owning it. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You pick, like you said, you pick your platform and you commit to it, bringing your flow, whatever your niche is, but showing up is the most important thing. I've built for events, especially. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me mute for just a second.
Listen, y'all, sometimes these types of things happen, right? And, we just going to keep moving. But, there should be some questions that you all have for Kris when she comes back, because these are the pearls of wisdom, especially for I'm going to be soaking it all up, because I'm in the early stages and I just want to know if I'm right on track or other things that I should be considered. But listen, Leslie just said she loves the phrases. Okay, doom
Oh,
scrolling is
thank
already
you.
one, so we'll
Yes.
be writing these
Oh,
things down.
that's see, that's okay. That one, so I'm keeping it. See, I was testing it out. Thank you for being my market research, Miss Leslie. I appreciate you. But it is a real thing, okay?
Yeah.
But so getting back to it, just creating something for you to be there. You can in 6 posts tell people what you do in a nutshell in 6 posts. And those 6 posts
Mm,
can technically live there for 6 months. Now, granted, have you changed? Has the business changed? Has the service changed? Hopefully, it's gotten better. But if not, you are at least planted there for a time where people can see or feel or understand or read what it is that you're doing without you actually having to say it yourself. That's exactly what it means when I ask what speaks for your business in your absence. Do you have to be there for people to know about you? Right? That's the first question that I start with. And if the answer is you don't have a link or a QR code or some type of social media, you're doing yourself an injustice. We can get
mm.
into, the politically correct terms to say, get your shit together. But at the end of the day, at the end of
Yes,
the day, we
ma'am.
want you to know you're hurting yourself. Literally,
Mm,
I actually couldn't imagine 100 people walking up to wait to talk to me personally. The thought of it gives me very much anxiety. It's a very much no thank you for
right,
me. But
right.
the thought of being able to do that and one, I say work hard one good time, and it's there and it lives there and it speaks for your brand, that is the most important thing. So that's what I would say to anyone starting. And what I love about that insight is it serves everyone. I literally have worked as a food CMO with restaurants who've been open for 25 years and they're doing great. But could they
Right.
be doing greater? Greater. Could they be doing better?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if they don't have social media, I've just changed their game in a 10x way instantaneously because their food is actually good. Their service is actually amazing. Their
Right.
property is actually the most beautiful thing ever. But they were so focused in on getting it done in real life that they didn't necessarily have the time to translate it over to the internet. And I appreciate and value those because they keep me in business.
Yeah. Listen. Hey, we got Glenroy just pulled in. Hey, Glenroy. And we also had Lindsay, who was up at the top. She's already left a comment. So thank you, too, for coming in. But Glenroy saying she is speaking marketing 101. Leave a hashtag for them to follow that circles back to you. All right.
Absolutely. Come on, Glenroy. That is called building community also. So
Mhm.
you right on my street. You're swimming in my ocean right now, 100%.
Yeah.
So the marketing 101, again, people sometimes forget about it. Just like you asked me about the actual core of my brand. You know what I mean? Like how it actually started. What put you in the stratosphere of that name? Sometimes you have to go back to those basic functions of marketing your business as well. Just stick with the basics sometimes. Don't reinvent the wheel. That's not an expression that I made up. It's actually one of those work smart, not hard concepts that
Yeah.
a lot of businesses don't really, hone in on, and it would do them better if they did. Yeah. Even myself, I'm
Yeah.
talking to
Yeah. Yeah.
myself.
Listen. We all soaking this all up. Okay, Glenroy's got another one. He said there are so many things that we can do. They are free that we leave
Mhm.
untouched. I even ensure that people remember me by the way I smell when I walk into a room.
Ooh, come on now. Come on now.
Hello.
Tapping
Yeah.
on
Wait,
them
if they smell
senses.
experience again,
Mm,
I'm on
mm,
their mind.
mm, mm. The smell experience, first of all, that sounds satisfying. My branding part was like, oh, okay, Glenroy, tell me more about what you do. You see what I'm saying? Like, absolutely, those things are so important. There's a book someone just actually recently told me about, but it summarizes small things that make such a significant impact. I mean, like, serious impact. They can be this small. And so, yes, Glenroy, you really hit that nail on the head. And now I feel like, oh my gosh, you probably do smell amazing. Like, I could smell your comment just now.
But you know what? That's all about, and I call, this is that personal branding, right? When you have this, specific smell, cologne, perfume, or whatever that you wear all the time, and people remember you by that, and you know what I mean? Then they always say, oh no, you smell like so and so. Well, no, I smell like me, but anywho,
wow,
it's a way for people to remember you and keep you on top of their mind. And Doretha's here. D, hey D, how you doing, Queen?
Hello,
she said, listening and taking notes. Okay.
Right. Do you really have your notebook out, Doretha? Because I love that for you if you do. Because I'm old school girly. I like my pen and paper. Okay.
Listen, I got like 5 pens in here. I got this pen. I got my little notebook right here.
How fast can you get to a pen? That's what tell me everything I need to know.
Pen and notepad. All right, let's go. Let me write up in here.
Absolutely. But what you're talking about is brand identity, really. And so we're still, as Glenroy said, talking about marketing 101. How do people know you? Y'all made me feel like I need to invest in a smell, but good is what I go with so far. Fresh, okay, is I will stick with the basics, the 101. But ideally, having some type of signature about yourself, that is how you can start with what you have to build something more, better, differently. So I love that.
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit more about that. Because, I know that I get different, information from lots of different people. You got folks that are in the branding, folks that are in marketing, folks that are like, been in business for a while, and everybody's got, something to say about it. But, I feel like, branding should be either in alignment with the marketing or before the marketing. Because if you don't know who you are and what you are about and what you're trying to do, you could be having this big disconnect between, you and your client, your future lead, whomever, right? And so what is your take on that?
That is a great question. And the simple answer is both of them, as my kids would say, with F's instead of TH. But you have to have them both, and they have to, in a sense, be like a live document. Like, it's okay to update your bio. And actually, that's what hemmed a little bit of me up, because after I looked at it, I was like, that don't really say what I needed to say right now. But no, to go back, it has to come first, like with a private conversation with yourself, with what your vision was when it sat and came to you, like what were the mechanics of that vision. And then while you're putting your offers out, while you're creating things that people want to sell, and hopefully you sell it before you build it. But once you get to that point, you want to make sure that you still have that same line of messaging, that you haven't really run off, or they say like run amok on what you originally started with. I give the best example, I think, especially with multifaceted creatives or entrepreneurs. They pick things up and put them down. Okay. And that's okay. But if it's all supposed to be housed under one concept, and hear me out, maybe under a house, what is the synergy? What is that thread that really makes them all flow together? They don't necessarily have to be doing 17 different things and none of them really line up. I think starting with what you know the end result is going to be for you, that helps you keep that forefront in branding. And then when you start going to help, going to get people to help you market or start creating graphics or again creating offers and things of that nature, you make sure that this is aligned with what you said you wanted at the end. And then you build in a way that you want people to understand it. You simplify it, like, in the simplest way, but just keep that same thing going. I hope that makes
Yeah,
sense and
it
says that you
does.
have to do both.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, because
that's my thing.
I think for many that are creatives, we can start something real quick. I mean, we hear something and then we like, oh yeah, let me start doing that. And then
Exactly.
it it's not even in alignment with what you're trying to say, and you're confusing folks. And so I think that clarity, and I
Yes.
had to learn this over some time, like getting very clear as to what you're
Yes.
doing and
Yes.
who you talking to. And
Absolutely.
how do they take in information?
Exactly.
How do they process what
Mm-hmm.
you are sharing? And is it hitting?
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's not, then that's when you make these, tweaks and
Yeah.
adjustments, if you will,
Absolutely.
but staying
Mm-hmm.
on message. All right. Because
Exactly.
I think a lot of times some folks don't stay on message.
Yes.
And I like last week they were talking about,
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Let's talk about fashion because we both into fashion.
Come
Like
on in.
so, you know what I mean. So and then the next week you talking about something about how to I don't know, design a product or service or whatnot. I mean,
Mhm.
we can get a whole span of
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
are really not like like let's
Mhm.
stay in this particular lane
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
keep on this. You got to be
Mhm.
so consistent, right?
Mhm.
That people will be like, she's the only or he's the only viable option. And I
Mhm.
look
Yeah.
around,
Yeah.
the only person I know that does it and does it well is
Yeah.
this person. And we
Yeah.
know we're not for
Yeah.
everybody, right? So, you know, s-
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, yes.
so we
Yes.
have to
That
make sure that we're using discernment too. But um,
absolutely. You're so right.
oh, you speak
You
about
speak
a
about
live
loud like a
again.
yes. Mm,
Okay,
mm.
and often with
So,
something
oh,
people will pay you for, we can be excited about something and it doesn't sell. The market is telling you it is not what they want. A/B
come
testing.
on. Come on, Leslie. Talk to him. Okay. This shirt right here tucked in is a product of A/B testing. I plan to show you all an example. And look at you segueing me in to this slight commercial and exactly what A and B testing is. And it's very important. I couldn't figure out if I wanted to tuck it in or leave it out. So I
Yeah.
went with both of them. And so if I wanted to host a vote here, then that would be market research. And then if I listen, I would tuck it in and make the adjustment. This is actually a flow of marketing. And Leslie hit the nail on the head with that. And really also going back to what you said about that clarity, that's so important as well. People kind of overcomplicate and get super excited with their messaging. A lot of times I've even done it myself because we're so excited about what we're offering. But the reality of it is our customer, our client, the people that are actually going to purchase this, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like you got to simplify it. Say it plain. Talk to me like I'm five. Why do you think those something something for dummies books do so well? Because
Yeah.
yes, that's how much people want to get it, but you can't, muffle it in the wording and the one of my clients call it word salad. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what that was. Definitely the messaging has to be simple and don't be afraid. I heard Halle Berry say, since we're talking about fashion and style now, to say that you made a mistake or say that that didn't work and you scratch it and start all over. I think
Yeah.
people underestimate the value of really what a founder and a CEO really entails. It means you make the rules, you're
Mm.
creating the story. So ideally, it's okay if that first thing didn't rock. Run it back. Failure is feedback. Don't forget it.
Yes, it is. I love
Mhm.
that. I
Yeah.
love that you the CEO and founder of your business, so you could do and pivot and however you
Come on
want.
now.
You know what I
Many
mean?
times you want to. Many times you want to.
And
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
Glenmore says continue to learn about your brand. Continuing to learn about your brand is brand expansion.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yes,
All
that's a
right.
mouthful right there. And know that that
Right.
brand expansion is internal and external, okay? Because just like my brand started off in just hosting events, being an event organizer, and now I have an entire global agency, right? That meant I
Global.
was continuing to learn about my actual industry, my actual brand, what I'm actually trying to put out into my audience and why. And also, I'm still having to learn the other side of it as well. What's the best place to plant this so that it actually grows? That's a heart of one of my military community experiences with the event as well. I bloom where I'm planted, but knowing where to plant is very essential as well. And that's usually where the PR comes in. But oh my goodness, Gilmore, you hit it right on the head again. Your people are good. I like this.
Listen, I come up here and I'm just like, I sit back and I wait till he puts a comment. I'm like, man, it's just so, the value and the words that he uses is really important for all of us to kind of glean in, because the wiser we are, when we are in a group, the wiser we are, the better that we can offer, what we have into this world. And so I'm just so thankful and grateful for all of my guests to come here live, because this is live, y'all. So you could be doing anything else right now, but you decided to come here with us live and enjoy this conversation with us. And so,
yes. So
and I love that when you said, when you started out, we started out with just, and it's not just, but you were having these community socials, and then now it has expanded and now global, because the arms, I call them like the arms of the business, you're adding, something else to it that is in alignment. It makes it sticky. All right. You're making it like, so I like to think of my octopus. Okay. I got 8 arms up in here.
Literally just had that conversation with my chief of staff last week with a client. I'm like, think of us as an octopus. Not only do I love it because of the tentacles of it, I think that's just what womanhood embodies. But then I love it because, they have 3 hearts as well. I was just like, oh, this is just so good. Yes, call me an octopus. I'm really into elephants, but call me an octopus. That is so good for a number of reasons. And I think the biggest one is knowing that you have all of those amazing things and not being afraid to show it, not being afraid to be passionate about it. But then also being intentional. That's what make that expansion for me. I can be good at a lot of things, but the things that I am great at, that is what presented me the opportunity to expand beyond myself, to scale to a team of 10, to, build with these amazing partners, in all of these different countries, as well as domestically. Like, knowing that it's good is good, but then knowing that it's great is like an opportunity to really make it better. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so when we were getting ready to talk to this fashion and style piece of it, because that's one of several, and we're going to talk about the other ones that we have in common. So how does fashion for you play into what you're doing?
Yes,
I'm just curious.
Yes, absolutely. So the first thing is the agency houses several divisions, and our niches are fashion, food, and fitness. So in the fashion side with the agency, that looks like barbers and stylists, and just people, designers, that know how to create something that looks like art, but also has so much power in attraction. So that really moves me from the service-based industry. So that's how that kind of all bridges in. But what I love most is most of my energy, most of my interactions, my introductions start because of how I look. I don't usually say anything. I have even this expression, like, I go in trying to be a wallflower and people make me a centerpiece. And it's odd, but I've learned to embrace it now. And it's because of how I dress and how I put things together, how I'm willing to explore with different pieces in my wardrobe. I'm not looking to follow a trend on what I think is, currently in style. I decided I'm putting on these clothes because they are giving me some version of life. And y'all can just say, you're welcome. Or
You're
thank you.
welcome.
I don't know. Yes, exactly. Right. Like I honestly, I just told one of my clients, I've never walked in a room, other than the 7-Eleven or something like that, and someone didn't compliment my outfit or my shoe or, you know what I mean? And these are items that could cost not even $20, but it's the way that I wear them. It's how I'm in it when I am wearing it. These things speak before I do. And again, what speaks for your business in your absence? I know everybody who says anything about me, they can say a lot, but what they can't never say is they saw me slipping or looking a mess. They can't say
Listen,
no.
Because my audience knows I talk about this all the time. And, it's so interesting to me that others aren't really paying attention to this. You know how many conversations we have when we step in the room, when we are, again, looking at our best, we're showing up for whatever it is. I have had so many conversations, and I have people come back to me like, I didn't meet nobody. I'm like, how in the world didn't meet anybody? And then it kind of boils down to you were trying to do something that other people were doing, and you weren't willing to put yourself out there. And it's okay to really get down to who you are and what you like and what's going to give you the right level of energy, because that's what we are putting into these rooms is energy.
Absolutely.
So, what type of energy you got going on now? If you have some down and out energy, like that's when we need to do some inner work. So
I had to freeze just so that I can get that. I can go when I watch it back, I can get that screenshot of how I felt when you said just looking like they're down and out. Because if I see one more person, you know what? I said I wasn't gonna get too hyped up because I knew that was the thing that really sparks us the most. When we get to talking about the styles, then I get to going. Let me just try to calm down a little bit.
Calm down.
Because looking like you're down and out is 100% the best way to summarize it in a very politically correct way. Like Crocs in any professional setting is you're doing it wrong. Okay. But I didn't want to start at the wrongs. I wanted you to lead me in how they're supposed to do something right. So I'm sorry. I said I was going to calm down. But it matters. Let's talk about it.
It matters. It matters a whole lot. I was watching a reel the other day. There's a young woman. She's out there. She is letting folks know when you come in for an interview, don't be coming in there with no jeans, especially jeans with holes in them, leggings, Crocs. She's trying to give people an understanding of when you presenting yourself in that type of a way, there's a little connotation to it, if you will. And so she is really trying to share with them because she is the hiring authority. And so she is sitting there and she's trying to hire people who have great talent, but because of what they're presenting, it's just not in alignment with the company's brand.
Literally, just what you said, how you're presenting. That's really what dressing is about. What are you presenting? When you look in the mirror, and that's another thing as well. A lot of people don't look in the mirror. They just get dressed and then they roll out. And you didn't even see you. So you don't want to know what I see, but okay. I digress. It has to be, what are you presenting? I've heard, from my corporate world and experience, it was, you dress for the job that you want, not the one that you have, right? And so while I don't necessarily have any personal beef with Crocs, I think that they're really, really comfy. And although my husband just completely forbids them and I just go with that, I love it here. It is not professional. It's not something that you want to show up in when you're trying to make any type of impression. And I have to even come down from like the interview setting because it's deeper than interview. interviewing. Let's just also talk about networking, which we know opens more doors than degrees can, right? Like, you
Absolutely.
are presenting something to me, and if I were to assess it, analyze it, not judge it, it's not much. It's giving not much. And when it is giving something, you're definitely going to attract some type of conversation. So if you went in a room in a bunch of opportunity with a bunch of people that had some kind of story to tell, and you didn't talk to not one person, you're the problem. And it probably starts with what you're presenting, how you dress, and even how you are smiling or not is also what you're presenting.
Absolutely. I think that it's a whole package deal. You know, you really have to understand that networking, especially in business, is a whole total different game than it
Come on
is
now.
in the corporate space.
Come
It's
on now.
not necessarily, who you know, it's who knows you.
Come on now.
All right. Who
Come
knows
on now.
you?
Come
And
on now.
so I think that when you can change the frame of thinking, well, I know this person, I know that person, I know that person. And so that's how I'm going to get into the door. It's really not about that. And one of the ways that we can do it on a hush hush, if you will, is to wear the right outfit that says the right message, okay, in the spaces that you are in. And so I have seen that.
Yeah, no, you're right. And you're right. And then I also have like a little put my finger up, because I do, from my PR lens, want to be intentional about the language, right? When we're talking
Yeah,
about styling, because there isn't necessarily a right or wrong way to do things.
exactly.
Last weekend I wore a shirt backwards. Let me just say that, okay? But it was fire. Be clear about it, okay? But you know what I mean? So there's no right or wrong to do it. But what are you presenting when you put it on? And how does it make you feel? You know what I mean? Because
Yes.
I've seen also some people dressed to the nine. Let's talk about the contrasts. Dressed to the nine, and something about their energy said, I'm gonna stay on this side. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna smile if they happen to look up. But for the most part, I don't necessarily want to talk to that person. And yes, that outfit is amazing, but something says just very much no. So it isn't all about what you're wearing, but also how it makes you feel. I think
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
significant thing about style. So if it feels right to you, it makes you feel good, you go with that, even if it's maybe wrong. Okay.
That's right.
But proceed with caution. You know what I mean? I think that also goes into that whole being authentically you, because I wore that shirt backwards like the designer himself said it was okay. Okay. And I
Yeah.
have no idea who designed that thing, by the way, because I'm not a
Okay.
not necessarily, but yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna read Glenroy. We got several comments on here, but Glenroy's first. He said, as veterans, we know the purpose and significance of the shine boot. Something as simple as ensuring your shoes are shine and serviceable has the ability to set you head and shoulders above the rest. Be your own competition in the marketplace.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Said it. What you doing,
listen,
shipmate? If them boots not shine, come on now.
exactly. Let's get that together. And then she said, "Come on now, the centerpiece, the centerpiece comment."
That one's hitting way harder than I wanted to, because it also feels like me trying to be on the wallpaper. But everybody's like, "Girl, you said it with that one."
Right. I don't know why you're trying to hide over there. Get
I
right
don't know
in
why
front.
either.
Listen,
Hey, it's
you
because
know
it's
what
comfortable.
happened?
It's
Listen,
comfortable to hide. That's why.
you know what? They see you and they want you to elevate the room. And they said, "Hey, Queen, you in the room, we see you, we need you to
I'm in here.
elevate, okay?
I'm
So
in
come
here.
into
I'm in here.
the middle of the room and to the
Thank
front,
you.
okay, so that
Thank
we
you.
can see
Ooh.
you. Oh
Well, just
my
let me
God.
sit down. I literally was just telling my husband that, why haven't I done public speaking sooner? Well, because I don't want to stand up over a bunch of people and say anything. That feels no. So make it a panel, and I will sit right in the center, no problem.
Listen, you know your limits. You know you know
I
what
do.
you can
I
do,
do.
right?
Yes,
Okay,
Leslie.
Leslie said this is the tag for you. Networking opens up more doors than degrees. Okay.
Every single time. Every single time. Okay. I
Oh
know
my
more
God.
7 and 8 figure earners, not because, I've stroked their ego or anything that they needed from me. It was just because I know how to be in a room and
Yeah.
be more interested than interesting, even though I get the interesting pretty good all by myself. Yeah, absolutely.
Listen,
Absolutely.
if y'all ain't catching these gems that she is
Come on.
dropping in
Come
here,
on.
I don't know what's going on. These notebooks should be filled up right now. Okay.
Filled. Where's the
Listen, now
pen?
I can just download and just watch at my leisure whenever I want to, but I'm just saying, y'all please take this information in because you just dropping it and they're so good. They're so good. Glenroy says your uniform should allow you to be a professional outlier. Are you crisp? Are your shoes shine? Is your timepiece appropriate or gaudy? Is your line fresh?
Yes.
Listen,
Absolutely. Is your gig line straight? Okay,
is the gig
talk
line
to him,
straight?
Glenroy, because it sounds like you definitely are on the civilian and the serving
Listen,
side. So I hear the
we
language. I'm
served
here.
together when
I'm ready.
we served together when we were in Vegas. And so, he is talking all of these
Oh,
different, I mean, and you know what? It's like taking pieces from our experiences and
Mm.
using them to our advantage, leveraging so that way we can present the best version of
Mm,
ourselves.
mm, mm, mm. I, I literally had to tell myself, I said, we are so much alike. She's going to say so many things, Kris. You're going to have to be calm so you don't interject, so you don't get too excited, so you don't start yelling on these people's lives. Like, don't get too crazy and passionate about how much you love the Slay Queen, because I do. You just say so many things that make me feel like, it's no secret that although I am a seasoned woman, okay, you are
I'm a
my
seasoned woman
you're
too,
my
Queen.
season, you're my senior, and it makes me feel like I'm getting it right, honey, to be following right up on the right steps. When you say things that I've been preaching to the choir for so long, it just makes me feel so good. Leverage is one of my favorite professional love languages. We have literally core values that build in regards to that other people arms, and just making sure that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I think it's something to say if you can take just a little bit of something and make it a lot better.
Yeah.
And they give you all the things, you get uniform allowances and everything. What do you do to make it better? You just iron the darn shirt. That's it. Okay.
You said iron darn shirt.
You know
That's
what I
all
mean?
you
That's
gotta
the
do.
simple
Pull out
way.
the ironing board,
Come on, that's the simple way. But even Gilroy said, even the gaudiness of it, like, oh, we got to be careful about that. Also, like, costume jury can get too costumey. Okay, let's just sometimes we have to be a little bit more gentle about our accessories as well. That is important. Okay, it does say a lot. So there are so many levels to this, and if you don't know and you feel overwhelmed by even that edifying detail, just get you some help, get you an agency to help you out.
Right. There's
Shameless
plenty
plug.
of agencies. Yes. Listen, that's why we're
Absolutely.
here, y'all. That's why we're like, come on here
Come
live.
on
I
now.
bring in
Come
the
on in here.
experts and the authorities.
Yes,
Hey,
absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that too. You said the sum of your experiences. My father used to actually say that. He used to say, I'm a sum of my experiences. And I made my agency, that house of many privileges, the same way. It's a sum of my experiences. And I felt like, how do I send that elevator back down? How do I continue to, not just learn, but be willing to apply what I learned to become more wise? Like, it really came with making sure that I'm not just present, but actually being able to analyze it in a way that I can become better and then pour better as well, or give better.
yeah.
I can say that so many different ways.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
one of the things that we didn't touch on, y'all, and we'll do it very quickly because I know we at the top of the hour, y'all, is how much health plays into being a business owner. And
Come
I'm
on.
just gonna
Come on.
I know that some people just be like, oh Lord, here we go again. But I'm
Since
just
we
telling
live,
you,
I can do it. Come on now.
if I
Hell.
did not have a routine or a conscious, effort or mindset of moving body, connected to the mind, making sure that I am, you know, doing some preventative measures. I
Mhm.
was just talking to my family and we were talking about being in the hospital. And I said, that is the last place that I
Mm.
want to be at, because I
Absolutely.
worked in the medical community for a very long time while I was in the
Mhm.
military.
Mhm.
And I have seen when people go in and the mindset changes and shifts. And so, one of the things that I am doing every single day is working out in some capacity. But
Mhm.
I have seen it not only be a game changer in my career, my 30-year military career, but
Mhm.
also as a business owner. I
Mhm.
have seen when I walk into rooms, I can tell of whether someone is really taking care of themselves
Mhm.
from a holistic standpoint or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
You know, so
Absolutely.
like I know you're big into fitness too,
Super.
and
Super.
your perspective on where you're at
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
what is it that you know about from your experience
Yeah.
from health wise is contributing to the success that you're having in your company?
One word as
Mm,
a simple answer, but then I made it two because I'm really about this professional life. The first word is movement. Pregnant pause. We're just going to just be quiet for a second. Movement. Simplify it, right? Remember I said that, okay? But then I became serious about it, and this is what I do for a living, not after my 9 to 5. Literally, it is my 9 to 5. Fun movement. Making sure that you enjoy it makes you committed to actually getting it done. And again,
yes.
consistency looks different for everyone. Consistency is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But also consistency is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also,
Yeah.
consistency is Tuesday and Thursday. Also, consistency is just Monday and just Friday. I don't have to keep going because you get the point, but my thing is to just be moving. And if we were to simplify, that's with a walk. It's just the ability to take the stairs instead of the elevator. There's many ways to simplify it, but how it moves me is with my fitness division in our agency, where we specifically help in that service-based field, your fitness trainers, your gym owners, your private instructors, people who really
Mm.
value the exercise and the cardio in living well and having the privilege to look and feel really good in real life, after the clothes and in the what you call those things, the little things that you wrap around and it sucks you in. What do you call
What's
them?
it?
What are those things? Whatever those things are called. Like, when you take those off, like, do you really look and feel good? Okay, the people that care about that answer, they are the people that I help to make sure that they get these events out and get people excited about it and get them in the room, because that's exactly where it starts. I think the privilege in how we serve is being able to look good, feel good, you do good. What did Dion say? What did Prime say? When you look good, you do good. When you do
Yeah.
good, you feel good. When you feel good, you are good. And it was good, and
Yeah.
and it was real. So you could definitely simplify it. I even just told one of my military spouses just last week, I was like, you can turn on YouTube University and just go to one of those dance videos and turn that music up real loud and sing your heart out and dance at the same time. I mean, to the toppest, highest ability. And you have literally burned so many calories. Like, that is 100%, a good way to just get started or just keep the momentum or get back. Like, that's also a really big thing, especially with having fitness trainers. People do it and then don't, and then do it and then don't. So, I have a whole bunch of passion towards it, professionally, but personally, I just like to keep moving. I like to look good in my clothes and out of them. Okay. And, yeah, I do think it's a privilege to look good and feel good and do good and be good.
I get it. I get it. Again, I don't push anybody to do what I do because
Mhm.
I'm on a whole nother
Yeah.
level
Oh,
of
exactly. Exactly.
making sure that because I've been training my body for a very long time. So
Yeah.
it's not as if this is something new.
Hmm. Hmm.
But if people are starting out, it is actually just putting one foot in front of the next and
Absolutely.
just doing like 5-minute walking, in between sitting.
Yeah.
You know how much we sit nowadays. Like
Yes.
sitting is a new cigarette smoking. And I used to smoke
Ooh, you
cigarettes
said it with
when
that
I
one.
was,
You said it with
you
that one.
listen. And so you sitting around and you're on the computer and we're doing a lot of work. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we forget to get up and
Yeah,
start walking, stretching our
absolutely.
legs out. And we were talking about stretching, y'all, because stretching
Absolutely.
is the best kept secret that everybody knows. All right. And I
Absolutely.
had,
We just said that in the pre-show.
yeah, so good. So, I mean, if sometimes this is what we need to do and incorporate into, all the things that we are dreaming of, all the things that we want to live out loud.
Yeah, yeah,
We have to be feeling good when we
yes,
do it. Okay.
yes. Most
Especially like you
times,
said,
not
service
sometimes.
Providers, we are with people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're interfacing with people. So if we were
Mm-hmm.
people, that we have to have a certain attitude, or else
Yeah.
these people they don't want to hang out with us. If you,
Absolutely. They don't want to do
you know,
business with people that don't feel good because they don't look
no.
good and because they don't do good. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think also what I really love about my connection to fitness or movement is also the mental health in it. I think that
Yes.
also is like a little a side whisper of my agency as well, especially with this new institute that we have that I'm so proud of. I so love them so much. But it really ties to how people feel and think when they
Yeah.
move around, when they get outside, when they do a little bit more exercise, when they, just do some intentional thing. Every day isn't going to be good. And I mean, we're especially talking about as business owners, it's hard. Entrepreneurship can be very extremely ghetto.
You
Extremely.
said
Okay.
extremely ghetto.
Extremely ghetto. 100%. All the fractions and verbs line up to just that. However, we said we about this life, right? And so
Yeah.
sometimes just a simple walk not only
Yeah.
helps you restore your gratitude, but helps you restore your mindset, your center, your focus. So now you done killed 3 birds with one stone. You don't walk,
Mhm.
you done got you some fresh air, you have some clarity mentally. You also feel like, uh-oh, that I sweat enough to at least shed some inches or so, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You can tell yourself whatever you wanted to hear, and it's gonna
Right.
be what it is. But I think there's so much power in walking and just having some type of fitness focus. It 100% perfectly complements a good sleigh. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. So yes, this is
Listen.
at the beginning when I said it's got to all align. Yes, you're gonna come on my page and see something about food. You're gonna come on my page and see something about fashion. You're gonna come on my page and see something about fitness. You're gonna come on my page and see something about mental health. And you're like, what is she doing? Living with privilege, living
That's
well,
right.
taking care of my body, looking good, feeling good, doing good, and then making that feel real for others.
Oh my, you know what, y'all? You heard it here. Okay, so go ahead and tell your friends who didn't come here that they missed out on a whole lot of conversation. That is going to be like some folks probably could get transformed right now and say, you know what, I need to do better. So tomorrow you have another opportunity, or tonight if you want to go and walk at 8:00 at night.
Come on.
Feel free to do so. But Leroy said his business hours usually start as soon as you wake up. His is at
Mm.
04:25. Now he put down military time. Okay,
Yes,
so
he did.
04:25, and I'm
Yes.
in the gym by 0500.
Come
Okay,
on now.
it's
Come on
like
now.
making your bed. It's allowing for the feeling of achievement as well as keeping his physique in top form. You
Oh my
know,
goodness.
it
That is Glenroy is the MVP as far as I'm
is.
concerned on the
Listen,
chat
that's
here because you say it every time it needs to be said the way it needs to be said. Now, I personally wouldn't have positioned it that my business hours start as soon as I wake up because I say what I said when it comes to my business hours. It's very much giving 10 to 1600.
that's
So at 8 or 9, don't look for me. Okay. It's
don't
not as
look
soon
for
as you wake
me.
up. Okay,
Listen.
don't look for me. But I love that you're in the 0405 club, Glenroy, and you're absolutely right. I also start with the habit of making my bed every single morning. I
Yes.
heard that's what millionaires do. Small habits do make a huge difference. So that's what I summarize, even though that first sentence sent me
Right.
left. Okay.
Okay, first, we'll get back to that in a second. Okay, this is what we're talking about: Spanx and waist trainers. Remember, we were trying to figure
Exactly.
the
I couldn't
word.
get that word to save
Yeah, I was
my
like, okay,
life.
okay. First of all, R5 Holling and junk removal, which is Ardra. She says, this
Ooh.
whole conversation was a word. I work out as soon as I get up every morning at 4:30. Y'all are up way too early for me. Now, that's what I used to wake up for.
I'm trying to get there.
Not
I'm trying to get
anymore.
there,
I'm with
actually.
you, Krista. I'm like, don't look for me,
Don't
okay,
look for
until
me.
about 9 o'clock. So these
Mm-mm.
networking events that they have at 8 o'clock, listen, I'm there, but
I
I'm
got
gonna
one at
tell y'all,
7. I have
it's
one at
just
7.
it's so early. Okay, it's so early, and I
But
just like no.
hear me out, Slay Queen. When you start your day that early from experience, remember I said that experience, not advice, it does make you feel like you have so much of your day. You have literally, as Glenroy said, you already got a win that most, 80% of the world cannot say. That's the type of wins I want to stack, just small. But
Listen,
yeah.
this
Mm-mm.
is what they said, because of being in the military for a very long time, I had to get up at 5:30, or
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, 4:30. I had to get up at 4:30 and get my workout in because the day would just take its own life. And then before you know, you get home, you don't have that much time.
Yeah.
But, when I retired, and I put retired in air quotes,
Yeah.
when I retired, I was just like, you know what, those 4:30, I can't be, I need some rest. I need some recovery. Y'all done worked me for 30
Dear Black
years. I just
woman,
said,
rest. That's one of my other affiliate brands, and I love
I
it.
need I need a
100%.
little bit. So I do
Mm-hmm.
get up about 7:30, watch AJ, get on the bus and then come back and, get my work in. But, it's all
Yeah,
about what we make of it. But,
yeah.
Audra says menopause has really tried to destroy her body, but she is fighting back and she has lost 10 pounds. I know menopause is disrespectful.
Can we
Okay.
just have a moment of silence for all of the things that women endure that we didn't ask for? And I'm not quite sure we even deserve, but we're just out here giving it the best we have. Because when she said menopause, I was like, yes, Perry is on me. Okay. She or he is on me and won't let me go. And I was tried to destroying my body. I wake up with pains from just laying still. It's not okay. Okay. And I'm fighting back. Shout out to you for losing 10 pounds, sis. I don't want to lose no more pounds, but I'm fighting back and I'm losing. Okay. We need to have another follow-up session to talk about what menopause really looks like, because I need to know, because this is already putting me in. You know what? I said, let me calm down. Thank you for bringing that
Listen,
up.
go invest in about 5 different fans, okay, and be like handheld, some that like are mechanical. Go ahead
That's
and pre-position them, in different places throughout the house. Put them in the car, put them in the purses, because you will have these hot flashes, and Lord have mercy, don't be wearing anything that you're going to automatically see sweat marks on, because
oh my goodness, the armpits and oh my goodness. You just have to be
it's a
mindful. And all those
whole
things that you see
situation.
hanging, that's because sometimes I get cold and I need a sweater. And then I get hot
Yeah,
and then I gotta take it off. Okay.
yes,
But
that's
my
all this
layer
is.
game has to be good,
Hey,
because I don't know what I'm gonna get in an hour meeting. Okay. I don't know what
listen,
y'all gonna get in an hour meeting.
Glenroy, you got listen. This is what happens when you get in here with the women in here, and we just talking
Okay.
about all the things. We talking
Yes.
business, and then now we in menopause. Okay, that's what we doing in here.
Multifaceted. You
Okay,
hear
all
me?
right. When your body and brain has been awake for 2 or 3 hours before everyone else, you come in firing all center. Yeah, that's when I was in my uniform days. Yes, of course, that's what I was doing.
Mhm.
Nowadays, I'm just like, Rochelle, take your time, pace
Yeah.
yourself. All right.
Mhm.
I don't want to burn myself all the way out.
Yeah.
So I do try to, stay in that. And then the menopause body slammed me once I had a partial hysterectomy. And let me tell
Mm.
you, if she was a person, I would whip her ass.
I will pull
Okay.
up for you, sis, on site. I will pull up for you and with you, because I want to tell her don't play with me, but I feel like I just have to say it now while I have the strength, because I don't think I'm gonna actually have the strength to play with her when it actually comes. So just let me know when we gonna
Just let
catch her
us know.
outside.
Oh my God. Okay, y'all. We've been on here.
This is so good. This is so good.
You know what I mean? You are all taking up a market for perimenopause and menopausal women. Clothes that cool you when you start to overheat and sweat.
Let me talk to one of my designers. Let me go ahead and have an agency and all hands meeting and see what they can cook up. Because you're absolutely right. And in Japan, I've seen them with the heater things, but I think that's for like
Yes.
construction workers and my service-based business. But we're gonna have to go ahead and reel that ingenuity in, okay, and keep it for ourselves and nurture it. You right. You right.
And then she said, spin the block.
In the block. 100%. Run that thing back. Remix. Okay.
Remix.
Yeah, y'all seen
Listen,
Martin.
y'all.
Y'all know what it is. You just run it again.
We've been on here, y'all, for an hour and 15 minutes, and I already knew. I mean, I don't even know why I was playing, thinking, "Oh, okay, we're gonna do an hour."
I know.
No. I'm always thinking, y'all holler at me when it's in development. Okay, we sure will.
Hey.
For women business owners, these are necessary conversations. So women who are experiencing these signs don't think they are alone.
You coming right on into my tagline, Leslie. 100%. What do we do? What does House of Privilege do? We make sure service-based businesses do not feel as alone. The isolation is going to happen. But as alone, oh my goodness, solopreneurship is dead. Stop it. Don't celebrate it. It's running us ragged. And we're still trying to be great women and great wives and great mothers. Just stop it. Don't be a solopreneur anymore. Okay. We don't want you to be alone. We got you. We got you. Thank you, Leslie, for setting me up for that. Queen, was that okay? My bad. You were worried. I had to show out a little bit because you were worried.
No, you got it. Oh my gosh, y'all. Okay, so first, let me just ask you 2 questions. I don't know how long we gonna get through these 2 questions, but we gonna get through. Yeah. StreamYard, don't play with us, okay? Because I better not be doing anything funny behind the scenes, okay? Talking about y'all been on here too long. So tell us just whatever you want to share with us before we leave and we pursue the world, if you will.
Yes. Well, like you may see, like the way you said that. There it is. There's so much to know, but to avoid FOMO, I would just say follow me. I would just say follow me. Go ahead and tap into H Privilege Marketing. Okay. This is a marketing agency that is not about vanity. That's why I don't like to be seen. I'm a behind the scenes girly. This is not about followers. This is not about going viral. This is not about audience. This is about community. This is about the logistics in marketing. This is about building a village of people around what you're passionate about, that you want to help take it to the next level, and having someone that you can trust in the thick of that. Some people call me the digital baby mama, and I kind of like it. Okay. Some people call me the pitch doctor, and I really love it. Okay. But get you somebody, I think, is the headline of it. Don't do it by yourself. I 100% feel like, it's easier when you have other people supporting and uplifting and elevating you. The same way y'all want me to elevate and just go and sit in the centerpiece is the same way I want service-based businesses to do as well. So there are so many things that we're working on as a global agency that I'm really proud of, and I don't want to just blurt them all out here, but stay tuned. Okay. We are outside, and we love it here. So I think that's the best way that I can summarize it for fashion, food, and fitness. We are the liberators of your brand and vision and product and event and dream, really, honestly. Yeah.
Listen, y'all, please follow her. She is on and out. She is on Instagram heavy. Okay. Heavy. Okay.
Threads
so get on there.
My team puts me on LinkedIn. I sprinkle around in Facebook.
It's very around in there, but not as much as you on IG. You got IG locked in there.
Oh my goodness, yes. I was on IG when it became IG from Facebook. So very much so. That's my platform. But I'm gonna try to do a little bit better with LinkedIn. And thank you for Slay Queen for encouraging me to do that by you holding it down on LinkedIn.
I'm holding it down over there. I'm like, again, it's a space that, a lot of times people are afraid to go into. And when I started to hear that, I was like, you know what? Then I'm going to occupy the space to allow
Mhm.
more women, more,
Absolutely.
communities to come in
Absolutely.
there and to share, because you can share thought leadership, you can share your events, you can share, where you go and who you're hanging out with, if you will, who you're networking with,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
give people a little bit about you. You can build your brand over
Mhm.
there on LinkedIn, because
Absolutely.
I have, and I'm absolutely having a great time at it. And so R5 Hauling and Jump, she said, what is your IG handle?
Yes, let me give it again. It's
Mhm.
HPRVLG. That's the way I spell privilege because the PR is very strong. Okay. HPRVLG and then marketing. And for my military people, it's Peter, Romeo, Victor, Lima, George, marketing. Okay. Thank you.
Listen, okay, this is the IG handle. She got all the what is what is that called
Phonetic.
again?
Is it
Phonetic.
phonetics? Uh-huh.
Is it phonetic? Yes, I
Is
think
it?
it
I
is.
don't know.
Listen,
Okay,
I don't
good.
forgot. Listen, I've only been retired for 4 years, and I swear I don't even know what we're doing anymore.
Well, it looks good on you. I mean, I love to be just as pour over as people pour me, and you've celebrated me so much. Thank you so much, Slay Queen. But what would you say to have somebody live this type of retirement post military life a little bit better? I think that's going to be the perfect overlap of what we're doing here and what they're going to see next. Like, what would you say?
Shoot, I would say just go for it. And it
Mm,
is could be anything that
mm,
your heart has been
yeah.
desiring, anything you've thought about for years, and you're like, oh, I can't do that. Believe in me. Yes, you can. And it's never too late. I think that's the
Yeah.
other message that I am trying to share is, we can decide at any point in our life that we want to do things differently,
Mhm.
because our needs have changed.
Mhm.
The way that we have seen the world, the experiences, we can package these things up, and
Yeah.
we can make some money. Okay, from all
Absolutely.
that. So,
Absolutely.
we don't have to go back to 95s. We don't
Mhm.
have to succumb to somebody else's, dream, if you will. We
Mhm.
make what we can with what we have. And
Absolutely.
man, I have the flexibility and the freedom, the peace, the satisfaction of knowing that when I can show up for my business and to make impact for so
Yeah.
many people in this world,
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Come on
living my
now.
dream. I'm living my life right now. So,
Yes.
I
Highlight
I
of
don't
what
have
you
to
said
ask for
is the
nothing.
freedom.
The
Yes, the highlight of
freedom.
what you said is freedom. Go after what makes you feel free. And know that freedom looks different on everyone.
On
Because on
everybody.
Tuesdays, freedom looks like for me being able to show up to give my little girl lunch and in the
Yes.
middle of the day. Just
Yep.
because. Because I don't
Yep.
have to ask nobody for permission to do that. That's
That's
freedom
right.
for me. Freedom for me
Yes.
also looks like sleeping in and not getting up at 04 or 05. Okay. That's freedom. Okay. Freedom also looks like never really getting mad at traffic because I'm not in a rush. Freedom looks
Hello.
different for everyone, but definitely I love that that is what's giving you the slay queen glow
Yes,
post
yes.
retirement.
Like, this is
Okay,
how
we
we
gotta
do
make sure
it.
that air
We
quote is
flip
there.
our hair, we keep it moving, y'all. Okay. I'm
I
just
love it.
saying.
I love it.
So my last question for you before we leave, y'all, because we got things to be doing, is I'm always taking action, like every single day, towards my 80th birthday, because I feel like that is the age where you've been through a lot, you've seen a lot, you've done a lot. So, what would you want your family and friends to say about you at your 80th birthday party?
Dang, I wasn't expecting that. You should have put that in the outline before this. I want to. We
No,
could
no,
have got a
no.
little longer. Oh my! How shape shifting. I haven't thought about that. What would I want to be authentically you?
Mm,
Authentically. I have had so many, pivots and turns and changes, on clarifying my message, on clarifying what I want the world to see. Like I said, a multifaceted woman. I can be a lot of different things. We know that as Black women, it's not just our crowns that we can switch up and become a totally different woman. We can actually be so magnificent at something that it engulfs us so heavy. And so even just figuring out what I want people to see or say or know about me, has been, in a sense, one of my biggest challenges. And so, what has gotten me through that fog is just being authentically me, boldly me. And I hope that at 80, like I've seen some bad 80-year-olds, okay? I mean, fine, all right? I hope that's definitely going to be my story also. But even deeper than the physical looks, I hope they just say, she was her. She lived out loud and she stood on business about what she said and how she made people feel. And yeah, I think that's to sum it up.
Yeah. Well, that's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
So I thank you for being here with us tonight on the Slay to Success
for
talk
having
show,
me.
y'all. Okay, this is when we do all the talking, spill all the tea, and give you all the insights and, share with you the things that we've been through, some of the things that are dear and near to your heart. So thank you so much for being here, K. Ron, R5 Hauling and Junk Removal, which is Audra Russell, Leslie George, Lindsay Kinslow, K-Ron Fairweather. Did I already say K-Ron? Might have. Glenn Roy. Glenn Roy was here in the building. Dorothea, aka D, in the building was here. And who else do we have that came in here? That thing. Maritza, how are you, Queen? How you doing, girl? Thank you so much for being here. They said this was wonderful. Oh, okay. I've already gave K-Ron a shout out. I just want to make sure that I did. So thank you all for being with us tonight, and really sharing some of your insights. And make sure that you come back next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because yet and again, you know how I do, high and low. I was searched and I am finding these women, these powerhouses, and with impressive, experiences. So you don't want to miss out on that conversation either. And until next time, y'all, keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And we'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.
See you. Have a good day. Take care.
He said, "Got to start a marketing campaign for the fellows." Feel like I'm
Come
always
on now. I am. A girl dad campaign is on the way. A girl dad campaign is. Come on, Glenroy. Listen. I might or might not be hiring. Okay, you trying to be a campaign man because you are in it and on it, and I love it.
Listen, okay, I got a new job, Glenroy.
Come on. I love it. Look, and so when I was given a fashion and style ending, at the end, all the models walk by and they're just clapping. That was for the people in your comments, because this live was exactly what it needed to be. I loved it. It was good.
You only brave one in here, Glenroy. So these brave souls. You're the only one.
He can't let go.
We appreciate you, though. Okay, y'all. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
We see y'all later. Have a good night.